Hey MMA fans, Cage Mind, your host Micah Frankel, back with another interview. Today we're continuing our series of the mixed martial arts fighters leading up to Invicta FC 2. Today we are glad to be joined by Sarah Cheesecake Moras, who has the tastiest nickname in MMA. How you doing today, Sarah?
I'm doing good, how are you?
I'm doing well. So on the topic of cheesecake, how did the nickname come to be?
My first pro fight, I came out to a song called Cheesecake by the Muppets because a friend dared me to, and my other song wasn't appropriate for families. So, yeah, I came out to that song, and then after that, all over the internet, it was just Sarah Cheesecake Moras, so it kind of stuck.
Okay, that's how we got to cheesecake. So, how did you get to start training MMA? What made you go to a gym first off?
I wanted to be a forest firefighter, but I was too young, so I thought I'd check out a club. A guy I was seeing was a fighter, so he told me where to go, and I went, and the rest is history.
Alright, so from the going to the gym and the training, when was it that you decided that you wanted to compete?
Probably about 3 years ago, but I ended up competing about 11 months after I started training. My coach at the time just told me he had a fight for me, and that he already confirmed it, and that if I don't want it, I can back out if I want to, but I don't like the sounds of me backing out, so I took it.
You took it. We know you came out victorious. That was a unanimous decision victory, right?
Yeah.
So what was that fight like from your perspective, 11 months starting after training, getting into the cage? What was that like?
Well, I pretty much only had jiu-jitsu from stand-up. All I had was a jab and a shoot. So I jabbed and shot about 9 times, and she just hugged me, held me on the ground. The ref stood it up. I jabbed, shot, took her down. She hugged me, the ref stood it up. It was pretty boring, just like the same takedown every time. I landed it, 9 times. And that's, the whole fight. Kind of boring.
Okay, so from that fight through the next 2 that you won by armbar, how much did you feel that you progressed in the amateur part of your career?
With the first one, I felt like I was a lot better than the first time. But the second fight I had a bad ankle injury, so I just wanted to finish it really fast. So it was only like 2 and a bit minutes long, that fight. But yeah, so I can't really tell what level I was at then, but with my third amateur fight, I had already trained with Rosie for quite some time then, and I just felt like at a whole nother level than my opponent. Like, I felt comfortable everywhere, and it was such a better feeling than my first 2 fights.
Okay. So you bring it up, the training with Rosie Sexton. How did that come about? How did you make it from Canada all the way across the pond to England?
I flew on a plane there.
I didn't think you swam, but how did it come about? Sorry.
I'm just bugging. On Facebook, I wasn't even friends with her, but a friend of mine told me, she's like, hey, Rosie's looking for a female training partner. She's got a spare room, you should message her. So I added her to Facebook, and I was like, yo, if you're serious about this, I'll come out. And she was like, yeah. So I bought a plane ticket and went out.
Okay. And then as you were out there for a year, what was the cultural changes like being from Canada, going over there to England? What was that like?
Well, I live near Vancouver. Well, I used to when I moved out there, so it rained a lot. So it was pretty much the same sort of weather over there as it was here. But the only thing that's really different is that everything's made out of brick. Everything's made out of brick. So it's, hard to find your way around at the beginning until you start recognizing the difference between the bricks and stuff. But I can't remember what I was saying now.
So everything looked the same. It sounded like a fun experience, and you learned a lot. So are you open and looking to perhaps possibly take on another travel to train scenario?
I don't think so at this point. When I moved back to Canada, I moved to a different city about 3.5 hours away from where I used to live to train at a gym called Toshido, which is where I'm at now. And it's just like, it's such high levels and such a great atmosphere. I just love every second of being here, and I can't, like even when I think of taking a vacation for a week, I think like, man, I'll miss like 6 days at Toshido if I go somewhere. So I don't see it in the near future, but I definitely like the idea of it for sure.
Okay, and then you seem really pumped about the camp you're at. Just wondering offhand, is there many other females for you to train with, or are you wrestling, striking with the boys all the time?
I hang with the boys, or try to. We got like a women's class for kickboxing, but they're not really into the competition of it all, so when I'm fight training, I train with all the guys. No girls yet.
Okay. And then in keeping yourself always prepared and fit, heard a lot about how Rosie Sexton has a really specific diet, and then where do you feel that you pick up any of that? Where do you feel your dieting is at in, comparison to helping your whole game?
Can you repeat that?
Your dieting. How do you feel that you do on your dieting and keeping strict, and how does that help you, or where are you at in that?
Dieting is probably one of the hardest things for me. I like to eat. I don't get like out of shape, but I get over what I want to weigh. Like I always have the cardio and I'm always ready to bang, but the scale sometimes doesn't agree with it. But like, I just gotta keep in mind what's happening. Like, as soon as I have a fight, I'm pretty strict with everything and stick to what I'm supposed to.
Okay. So when you're at home and stuff, is there one restaurant or one place you have to stay away from? Because if you go, you're going to break the diet, you're going to eat something you shouldn't, you're going to misbehave?
Yeah, I love sushi. And there's like this great sushi place sort of like right between my gym and my house. So I haven't been there in a while, but I can't wait to go back there.
Well, isn't the fish high in protein? Isn't that still a good element for the diet?
Partly, but there's a lot of carbs and sugar in the rice and everything that I can't have right now.
Ah, true. Okay. So then after a victory, where are you going to eat? What's the meal that you're getting after a victory to celebrate?
Well, I'm definitely going for sushi, and then at my work, we have like this Sunday brunch that's like $30 and it's got everything, and I get a 50% discount. So I'm gonna go there with a couple people, and then I'm gonna have like a party where everyone has to bring cheesecake. So,
how many different flavors you can get?
Yeah, hopefully a lot. So that's the plan, at least right now. As long as I don't get something booked right afterwards where I can't eat any of it.
Okay, so prior to the nickname and the song, cheesecake has always been your favorite dessert?
Yeah, cheesecake and ice cream cake are probably my favorite.
Alright. So, get back into the training and the serious talk. What's a typical day like for you?
Well, I get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and I go to work. And after work, I hit the gym. Right now, I'm cutting back on weights a bit, but I'm doing like an hour of cardio. I come home, I take a nap, and then I go train for 3 to 4 hours at nighttime with our fight training, and then we have jiu-jitsu or MMA or kickboxing.
Okay. So, let's get some thoughts on upcoming now. July 28th, Invicta fights. What's it like being part of Invicta? What was it like getting the call from them? All that.
It was pretty cool. Like, my coach mentioned it before, like, right around the time of my last fight, and I sort of didn't think anything of it. I didn't think they'd fly me out from Canada when it's such, like, a big promotion, and there's so many female fighters out there now. So I didn't think anything of it, and then he just kept saying it, you know, like, adding a bit more to it, like, yeah, I think they're interested, you know, and I was like, whatever, he's just saying that. And then he's like, yeah, you gotta fight, here's the contract, and I was like, shit, this is actually happening. So it was pretty cool. Like, I'm so stoked to be on it and to fight where people are gonna see me and see my level and hopefully get more fights. Because it's been hell trying to get fights this past 2 years.
I've heard that it's been trouble for you getting the fights the past 2 years, and I heard there were some problems with fights being accepted and then being canceled. How many situations that were that frustrating did you actually go through?
I'd say close to 10. I had the same girl pull out 2 or 3 times, and the show got canceled 2 or 3 times as well, pretty close to the fight. So that was just one, and then it was just, yeah, a lot of other things, like commissions wouldn't allow me to fight, or like this chick got pregnant or something, and it's just like, yeah, oh, I'm actually injured, and stuff like that, so it's been hard.
So what was the frustration like with all that mounting? Did you think, I'm never going to get an actual fight to go through again, or what were the feelings going through you then?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't know if you heard about Danielle's West, how this weekend she was supposed to fight, and she weighed in and everything, and then she shows up to fight, and the promotion's gone. I sort of thought that was going to happen with my last fight, because we finally get this fight, like, it's on 8 days notice, we're like stoked about it, but we're like, fuck, what's gonna go wrong this time, right? So then we're driving down, and every time the phone rings, we're like, fuck, I hope it's not the promoter. And then it wasn't the promoter, and then you weigh in, and you're like, sweet, we weighed in, and then you get back to your hotel room, and the phone rings, and you're like, shit, I hope this fight's still on. And then you like walk out to the cage, and you're like, holy shit, this fight's actually happening. So it's sort of hard for me to like wrap my head around getting fights, especially 2 so close together after having such a long time off. But I'm stoked for it, and I really hope that this all works out how it's supposed to.
It's Invicta. Their first promotion went off great. All the girls have great things to say about it. I'm sure that will go off fine, and I'm sure that we'll all get to see you perform. What was the closest to actual fight time that you had to deal with the cancellation?
I found out on a Monday, and I was supposed to fight on a Friday. I think that was probably the closest. I was supposed to fly out on the Wednesday, and I found out the Monday night. So, yeah, like, stupid.
So with the cancellations and the consistent training, was there ever a worry from yourself that you were overtraining, and by the time you were up to a fight that you were just going to be exhausted from all the kind of roller coaster ride of preparing and cancellations?
No, like, whether I have a fight or not, I go through all the fight camps with their fighters whenever they have fights. I'm always at the gym. I should pretty much sleep there. I'm always there. So for me to overtrain, like, that doesn't exist to me. I train my ass off, and I'm always there. And, like, for me to take a day off, like, I have to be feeling, like, really, really, really shitty. So it's just how I am, and fight or no fight, I'm always going to be in the gym training my ass off.
Right, and we can't wait to see you on there, because I was looking this last week for some video on you on YouTube, and there's really only one fight, one armbar victory, one of your amateur fights, really quickly. So we can't wait to have some tape to be able to see you. But what do you have thoughts on your opponent? Anything for Raquel Pennington? Any thoughts?
Sorry?
Any thoughts?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to what my opponent's gonna do to me. I look into it a little, but not a whole lot. I'm pretty comfortable wherever this fight goes, so I'm just stoked to really show what I can do. I know she's got a great amateur record, and that, you know, she's gonna be coming out strong. So it will be a good fight, and it will be a good chance for me to prove myself.
Okay. So without giving away your game plan, you want to give away your game plan and tell us a little bit what you're thinking or some stuff? But without giving...
I started out on the ground. It's probably my favorite place to be. I'm comfortable everywhere, but we'll just see how it goes.
Okay. So from the lack of video that we have, the 2 professional fights that you won were both by TKOs. Were those standing or were those ground and pound?
Well, the first one was ground and pound for mount. The second one, it was a doctor stoppage. I kind of broke her arm, and she didn't tap. So the doctor stopped it at the end of the round, but I just kept beating on her till then.
Okay. So we can tell you're right at home, on the mat. Where do you feel, since you've started this training now, a few years ago, where do you feel your striking has come to?
My striking is pretty good. I think it's my ground game is where I feel the most comfortable, but I'm pretty well rounded. I think my striking's at a pretty high level. I've boxed with some pro boxers and can hang with them, so I'm confident wherever it goes.
Okay. Winning's winning, and we all love winning, but for you, what would be more gratifying? The submission, TKO, KO, a decision? Which way, ideally in your mind, does the fight play out?
I would want a KO, but it's more likely to get a TKO. I want to see some blood in this fight, so we'll see how it goes.
Gonna work those elbows from the top?
Maybe.
Maybe. Or try to?
Yeah, that's part of the plan.
Okay. So, fight hyping, trash talking, all that good stuff. We've had some notables out there. Where do you feel that? What's your game plan about that kind of deal? Trying to sell a fight, trying to hype it up, trying to anger an opponent? Do you play into those kind of things?
I've kind of thought about both. I have like a weird personality where I can be really shy or I can be like the bully. And I'm kind of known as the bully at the gym. But when it comes to fighting, I'm sort of like, I like to be more mellow and respectful. I like to sort of play up being more innocent looking than what I am. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I can talk smack if people pay me to talk smack, but right now no one's paying me, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Not paying you enough yet to cut a Chael Sonnen-esque WWE promo yet?
Yeah, if they pay me what they paid him, man, you'd hear some funny shit.
Okay, that's good. On that same sense, after the fight, they stick the microphone in front of your face. You know, one of those questions that's always asked. Who do you want to fight? Is there someone on your mind to call out? Would you call someone out? Is that part of your style?
That's, I don't know if that's part of my style yet. There are people I have in mind that I'd like to fight. Ultimately, anyone in the top 10, you know, I want to make my way up to the top, so the bigger name, the better for me.
Right. Can't wait to see it, and the starting out. But I wouldn't be surprised if something funny came out if they do stick a microphone in front of you, it seems like.
Yeah, it depends what mood I'm in.
So besides the happiness, the energeticness, your grappling expertise that you're working on, what else do people really need to know about Cheesecake?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You stumped me on that one.
Alright, we'll give you some time to work on it. Maybe the next time we'll talk, you'll have some more answers for us. As far as, though, where you've grown from in the mixed martial arts game, do you see you have a view now where you've gone from being just training all the time to where you have enough wherewithal to be a trainer and be an advice giver in mixed martial arts?
Well, right now, like, I teach women's kickboxing and stuff, and I do have an interest in that, and I do enjoy doing that, but right now I want to fight as long as I can fight and put that time into me. When I was in the UK, I was teaching a bunch of different classes from kids to women's to adult MMA, and Yeah, I just found that took time away from my training, which I didn't like so much. So right now I just want to really focus on my training and get me to however far I get. And once I'm too injured to fight or whatever, then I'll probably look more into teaching.
You're not supposed to say too injured to fight. You're supposed to say, once I beat everybody, I have all these belts, and I need a new goal.
Well,
right?
I didn't mean injured in fights. I meant injured from my training partner beating the shit out of me. But you get old, you get injured, they take longer to heal. It happens to everyone. If you could like stay the same kind of shape that I'm in now and recover the way that I recover now, late into my 40s, like I'd fight till the end, right? But that's not really how our bodies work. So I'll fight as long as I can fight, and then I'll look into teaching.
Father Time's the only person that's undefeated, and we all know that. But on the teaching aspect, I was just wondering, when you had the opportunity to teach, if that, from the different aspect, did it open up anything about your games that you realized? Your game, did you grow from that?
I think I definitely grow when I teach. You sort of have to think about everything, whereas when you just train, you just do it. So you learn a lot more and you remember more of the specifics and everything when you teach. But, like, I do teach a bit, but I'd rather just put the time on the mats training myself.
Okay, and then with the training, do you train a specific game plan, and then with that, how well of a job sticking to the game plan do you feel you do inside the fight?
I think pretty much every fight I've had, I stuck to my game plan, and it worked out for me. But if game plans don't stick out, you gotta be willing to change your game plan so that you win the fight. That's my opinion. You gotta win it, right? So if that means what you're doing isn't working, you gotta change that.
So you have plan A, your game plan going in. Do you go in with a contingency plan, kind of a B and C to check off to, or is it A and then I'm gonna just kind of go with how it feels?
I think it's pretty much A and then go how it feels. I feel comfortable everywhere, so if she makes me feel uncomfortable in a certain area, then I'll probably try to avoid it. But I don't know, we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, so after we see this win that you're going to come off of at Invicta, what's everyone's going to be talking about the most dangerous aspect of your game?
It's going to be my ground for sure, but, well, I don't know. You'll have to see fights. You have it all in your head, but as soon as you step into the cage, you're fighting someone you haven't fought before, you haven't trained with them before, they got moves that you haven't worked with before, and you got to adapt. So for me to come out and say exactly how it's all going to go down and what the highlights of it is going to be probably won't be very accurate, but by how my training is and how I've been ending up with my training partners, I have a pretty good idea, and I think it would be pretty exciting for you guys.
So if we said on a 1 to 10 right now where your confidence level is at, would a 13 be about correct?
Yeah, like I do get nervous and everything, but I feel like I've made the right choices in my career to train with Rosie and to train at the gym I'm at now. And I don't think I could do anything more to be more prepared for this fight. So, like, I've done all I can do. Well, I still got a few more weeks to do more, but I've just done it all. I've been there, I put the time in, and I want it.
Awesome. As far as the butterflies go, are you going to have any butterflies, perhaps before the fight, just meeting the Invicta people? Any part of this that you're nervous about yet with a new promotion, first time out?
I'm not really nervous about meeting the people and everything. It seems like a great promotion, and I'm more excited to meet everyone and see, like, so many women that are into it and that are talented. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I hope I get to maybe, like, grapple with some of the women that I'm not training, that I'm not fighting, and just sort of like experience it all and just be around people like that, because I don't train with females right now. So it would be awesome to be around that. As for the fight, like, obviously I have butterflies. I think everyone does. But it doesn't affect me. As soon as I'm in that fight, I'm in that fight. So leading up to then, yeah, you get it here and there, but it's not going to affect the outcome of the fight.
Okay. And then we know that you have the full-time job and you're in the fight game. What's it like trying to balance the two?
It was hard for quite a while. Pretty much when I moved to Kelowna, I told every place, like, I can't work between these hours because I gotta train. I can't make any exceptions with it, so it was really difficult for me to find a job, and when I would find a job, it wouldn't be the amount of hours or the pay that I could support myself on. So I was struggling for quite a bit, but just a few months ago, I found, like, the best job to work with my training. So I've been working early mornings and then training at night, and it's perfect for me. So I'm really stoked.
That's awesome. Glad to hear everything's working out with you, and it should all come together and make a positive force towards this event with your debut with Invicta. So, other than that, wanted to give you a moment, thank your sponsors, training partners, all of them. Give you that time right now.
Okay. Right now I have Beyond Nutrition, Rhino Chiropractor, Pigo Juice, One Life Fitness, and then my gym Toshido. My coach is David Lee, Jake McDonald as a training partner, Joe and K-Fed, Cleveland, just everyone. So I just have a great team, and they've all been really helping me out, getting me prepared for this fight. So, yeah, I'm just so happy for it all.
That's awesome. And thank you for the time once again. We wish you best of luck on your fight. And the last thing I had to ask was, are you going to walk out to the Cheesecake song again, or have you chosen a new theme to follow you?
I don't like to come out to the same song for any fights, so I've picked another song that I'm sure everyone will be stoked to hear. I'm not going to tell, though, so it's a surprise, but you should be entertained.
Awesome. Can't wait for it. Everyone else, make sure to tune in. Invicta FC 2, July 28th. It's free on YouTube if you're not going to be there live. If you're there live, tickets are a great price. And also make sure to follow Sarah Cheesecake on Twitter and also Sarah Moras on Facebook. So promote her. This has been Cage Minds, Uncage the Warrior Within Yourself. Thank you for watching, and watch Invicta Fights, July 28th.